Hello, this is Amy Zawi with the Jerusalem Connection Report for Friday, January 13th. A new year has begun. Happy New Year, everyone. It is great to be back with you all. I was reminded of a verse this week, Proverbs 17:17. A friend loveth at all time, and a brother is born in adversity. And it seems that right now we need to be the brother to Israel and not just their friend. I heard just this week Secretary of State nominee, Mr. Tillman, express on the floor in front of the committee publicly that his goal is to, if confirmed, not only forge new partnerships around the world, but also rekindle frayed friendships. And I think at that point he was referring specifically to the state of Israel. We ended 2016 not on a good note with the UN, in my opinion. The UN passed a resolution on December 16th condemning the state of Israel for its so-called illegal settlements in the West Bank. In so doing, what most people don't understand is they also named many of the sites in East Jerusalem and many areas that have been with a consistent Jewish presence for millennia and have proven Jewish history behind it. As well, the resolution used wording that only included the Islamic names for said sites, thus an effort to erase both a Jewish identity and a Christian identity to sacred historical sites. This resolution is so ridiculous, it even, by a careful analysis of its details, notes that certain campus addresses of Hadassah University are technically illegal occupation zones. At no point is any part of Jerusalem illegally occupied. Moreover, this resolution is absolutely ridiculous because not only did the U.S., for the first time ever, not vote no against a condemnation, it abstained, which is a de facto vote for it. Israeli intelligence agencies have hinted that they are bringing to the new incoming Trump administration documented proof that the Obama administration, or at least its acting agents, helped to craft the language that is so visceral against Israel in this UN resolution. That said, we are all looking forward to a new brotherhood, or a renewed brotherhood, with Israel after January 20th, the inauguration of the new U.S. administration. Not only was this UN resolution unjustly and overwhelmingly biased against Israel in terms of any form of logic whatsoever, the UN consistently ignores other ongoing human rights crises in the world, doing little to help the people of Aleppo, the Christian genocide in the Middle East, or other oppressed peoples worldwide. There are over 200 legally disputed territories that nations are somehow fighting over, whether politically or with weaponry, in the U.S., but you only see the UN convene and make efforts to point out Israel when this is certainly a debatable cause at the very least. Moreover, both China and Russia voted for this condemnation when in fact they are both illegally involved in disputed territory actions just this very year, including just this very week, China's activities in the South China Sea in areas where they absolutely do not belong per legal parameters, as well as the fact that in the last year, Russia, as most people would agree, are illegally seizing areas of the Crimea and moving assets into East Ukraine. Even this week on that nominee review floor in the Congress, Secretary nominee Tillerman also noted the illegality of the actions of China and Russia, and yet they had the right to vote against Israel. Moreover, you don't see the UN actively engaging these nations for their movements in so-called disputed territories. So how is all this UN activity related to the BDS movement, the boycott, divest, and sanction movement that we see so often rear its ugly head on college campuses in North America and in Europe, as well as within community, political, and economic groups, reaching as so far as into the community of the arts and performing arts, as well as writers and the like? Well, when the U.S. and the UN offer fuel to the flames that Israel is the constant obstacle to any sort of peace in the U.S., and that Israel is the constant perpetrator of some sort of illegality or human rights violations, it fuels the BDS movement's sense of legitimacy and righteousness as they move into college campuses, espousing usually spun, not in context accusations against Israel or bold-faced lies. Again, many of the agents that helped craft and have fueled the anti-Israel sentiment in the UN are also the agents behind both terrorist organizations and the BDS movement, as money and support seems to flow in all directions in that anti-Zionist, anti-Israel realm of the world. When the U.S. and the UN organizations openly turn their back on Israel, it is just more optimistic results for the BDS movement. But that said, the Trump administration and its upcoming appointees, these people will change the tide. They will bring to the floor of the UN a voice that will not stay silent and turn its back on its friend Israel. And as such, we will be their brother even in adversity. So for 2017, I ask this be all our resolutions. Be not just a friend to Israel, but be a brother in its adversity. That means we will stand up for it in any capacity we have, in whatever avenue we have, whether it's writing letters to our own leadership, whether it's discussing these topics with friends, neighbors, and church groups, or whether it's participating in online discussion groups or supporting groups that support Israel, both Jewish and Christian, as they work together in a renewed friendship in 2017 and ultimately a renewed brotherhood. Shavua Tov, have a great week, and Shabbat Shalom.